Hello everyone, it's me Jamie and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another update video. It's been a really long time since my last video, so I have tons to show. I have a finish. I worked on like 10 other projects, so there's going to be a lot to show, and I'm just going to jump right in because it might be a little bit longer than my normal update videos. So I'm going to start with my finish, which I have already shown on my Instagram, so if you follow me on Instagram you would have already seen it. And it is Stardew Valley Autumn, which is from Glitch Stitch AU on Etsy. So I will be inserting somewhere where it was the last time that you saw it. And now here it is finished. I even got a frame, so like I'm framing things, trying to. Like I actually framed the Nightmare Before Christmas that I had stitched a few years ago. I bought a frame, popped it in. I'm not doing like really good framing, but I'm actually getting things in a frame so you can see it. And yeah, so here is Stardew Valley Autumn. I love it. You can see that there's a small space here and right up here where if I stretched it better, I probably could have got rid of the gap, but like from far away, you can't see the gap, is there really? So it's fine, it's fine. Anyways, and I stitched this on 28 count fabric, 2/1 tent stitch, which is a half stitch. And I also have the other Stardew Valley seasons from Glitch Stitch AU, so I will be also stitching those hopefully soon. But I was really excited to get this one finished, and I wanted it finished before fall, which I accomplished. And so yeah, now I can have this out for the fall season, and it's adorable. I love it. There it is. Okay, so now I'll get on to whips, which there are a ton, so I'm just going to start pulling them out. The first one that I will show you is Crystal Palace, which is charted by Mandarinx Designs on Etsy. And like I said, for all of these, I will be posting or inserting pictures of what the finished project will look like, and I will also be inserting where it was when I started working on it. So here is where it is now. I don't know which side I'm going to. There it is. My goal for this project is actually to try and finish it this month in September, which I've been trying to finish this project all year and it hasn't happened yet, but I am determined that it will finally be finished this month. So I am at like 75% complete, and all that's left is the tent or half stitches that are in the background. So I'm gonna get up close. So this castle here is all full crosses. The background is all half crosses, so it goes pretty quick when I do the background. And so if I do like 200 stitches a day, it should be finished by the end of September, which I know because I have the app Stitch Pal, and you can put in like what date you want a project done by, and it will tell you how many stitches that you need to do a day to get it finished. So it's only like 200 stitches a day to get it finished this month. So that is my goal for this project. And I'm stitching this on fabric that I dyed myself using, I think, neon yellow with a little bit of blue Rit dye to make it slightly like have like a neon-y green tint to it. And it's like a 16 or 18 count, I don't remember, but here it is. I love it. I love the colors of this. So many blues. And then I still need to do all the back stitching, but I'm waiting to do the back stitching until I have all of the half crosses done, because you also back stitch around here. So I need to finish all the back stitching or all the half crosses first. So there is Crystal Palace. And then another project that I'm trying to work on daily is Autumn Harmony, which is artwork by Maxine Gadd, charted by Maxine Gadd. And it's not even really like a goal. I'm just trying to keep working on it, because if I do like 200 stitches a day for the next year and a half, it will be finished, which is a ridiculous timeline, but I really want to get this chart finished. Like for all my charts, I kind of have charts that I really want to finish, and then I have charts where I'm stitching on it because I like them, but I don't care about them being finished, and she is one that I really would like to get finished eventually. So yeah, so if I do like 200 stitches a day, I think she would be finished by like fall of 2025. So that's a really long time, 2 years. Yeah, but I was thinking to try and have it finished by fall so that she could be up on the wall during fall. I don't know. Like I said, that's a really long time. Anyways, here she is. I was working on this corner up here, and I just started, first I started working over and was going into these light colors, but I'm not a fan of stitching on light colors that much. So then I was like, I'll work down instead. And so then I worked down on this tree here because that tree is all 3371, which was easy to just take that color and just stitch down. And then I also started working down on this edge here and plan on continuing working down. So I mean, I'm trying to do 200 stitches a day, so that's basically like doing like, you know, 2 blocks a day. It's not bad. It's totally doable, but yeah, we'll see how long I actually manage to keep up with that. And this is the full piece so far. She is gorgeous, which is part of why I want to get her done. Like, I just love looking at her so much. And also I really want to finish her because my sister is also stitching this, and she is stitching the Haid version. And the light just got weird. Anyway, she is stitching the Haid version, and so we really want to have these finished so we can compare them, you know? But yeah, so here she is, and she's being stitched on 18 count, 2/1, full cross. She is one of my few charts that is full cross, and putting her on 18 count kind of is like maybe a mistake because, like I said, she's just huge now. Like, her face is probably bigger than mine, but I love her. So she will be kept out to do a few hundred stitches a day, hopefully. And the reason why I went with that is because I could have went with more stitches a day to try and finish her sooner, but I also don't want to get burned out of working on her. Plus, I would like to also work on other projects because I don't want to just pick one project and then neglect everything else, because I've done that before. And then I end up really kind of regretting it and wishing that I had worked on other things too. So there is that. I want to cross off. I made a list of all my projects so that I can make sure I don't forget anything. So I'm going to cross off the ones that I've talked about. Show Crystal Palace. Okay. The next project, this is going to be a mystery because they're just all next to me, and I'm just going to start pulling out of bags. The next one is Fables, which is charted by Gecko Rouge. And here it is. I did not do that much on this, and it's probably going to be hard to see what I got done because of the fact that there was a lot of light stitches. So I did some of the light colors this way, and then I also was filling in the crown that's on the owl, and that's all I really did. What I had decided in August was that I went through my list of whips and I found everything that I hadn't worked on yet this year, and I pulled all of those charts out, and then I was like, I think I decided that I was going to do 1,000 stitches if it was a full coverage project, and then 500 stitches if it was a non-full coverage project. So I ended up doing 1,000 stitches on this because I hadn't worked on it yet this year, and there's a few other projects here. That's why there's so many projects, is because I pulled out everything that hadn't been worked on yet and did at least 1,000 stitches on it. So there's that. And this is being stitched on 25 count 2/1 tent stitch, which 25 count is, I think, like my new favorite fabric for full coverage, because 28 count sometimes can be a little tight if you have a lot of confetti. So there was that. I will start putting things somewhere else so I'm not buried in projects. And then the next one that I will show is the 12 Nights of Christmas stitch along, which I started last year when I did Flossmas, and it is by Atomic Tiki Pins on Etsy. And here it is, upside down. Here it is. I decided for this one, I was going to work in the center because my goal for this year was to finish the center of this chart, which I'm not even close to finishing the center. I kind of decided that for my goals, I might, because for each goal I made like a mini goal, and so I kind of decided that for each of my big goals, I'm only going to try and reach the mini goal by the end of the year, if that makes sense. I will try and insert a picture to show what I mean by mini goals, but so I worked on the center. I started filling in kind of the top and then working my way down to try and work from the top of this section down. I am stitching this on, it's I think an 18 count that I had dyed myself. So there was that. And this one I only did 500 stitches because it was one I hadn't worked on yet this year, and it's a non-full coverage, so I got 500 stitches. Okay, the next one is Witcher, which is charted by Thread Geeks, and I think I'm stitching the large version of this chart, and I pulled it out, and I actually worked on this for more than 1,000 stitches. I hadn't worked on it yet this year, so originally it would have been do 1,000 stitches, and I decided that I was just going to keep going because I'm stitching this one kind of by color for right now. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep going like that, and so I'd stitched all the black last year, and the color I was working on had 4,000 stitches, and I was like, I'm just gonna stitch all of that color and finish that color. So I actually ended up stitching on this one and did 4,000 stitches and finished all of the color I was working on, which was 844. So if you go in close, you can see kind of that there is a gray color that's now filled in, and I'm super excited to have more of him done. And the next color that I have planned to work on is color, I think 415, which is more background, because I really need to also work on the background because I haven't done any of the colors in the background yet at all. I think this chart goes up quite a bit higher because I have quite a bit more room on the fabric, but so far none of the colors have went up to the top yet. So there he is. I love him. And it's so sad that, because I started working on him, I think I actually started working on him in July, because at the end of July, Witcher season 3 part 2 came out, and so I was working on him while the show was out because it was the last season with Henry Cavill as Witcher, so I had to work on it while I was watching. It was great. And he is being stitched on 25 count 2 over 1 tent stitch, which is a half stitch, and you will see kind of that 25 count doesn't give the greatest coverage for the black, but for other colors it's fine, but I am fine with the coverage that it gives. So there's that. And the next project, hold on, let's cross off Witcher. Next project is Walking in the Rain, which is charted by Artisy. And this is one that I pulled out, not because I hadn't worked on it yet this year, but because every month I have a project that I want to work on for 2 days, and that way it means that I'm trying to just rotate through projects, that everything gets worked on at least once this year. So I pulled this one out for 2 days and worked on it in, I think it was in July. And there's where I got to. I love the colors so much that it's getting to right here, where there's like all these like pinky, orangey reds. They are gorgeous. That is the reason why I picked this chart. When I saw it, I loved the colors. They are beautiful fall colors to me, because I've been trying to find fall charts, and a lot of fall charts seem to have more muted colors in full coverage projects. There'll be like a fall house and they're like a lot more like lighter greens and grays and stuff, which to me, fall where I live is a lot of bright oranges and stuff. Like, that's what I think of. So I love this chart. And I am stitching this on 25 count 2 over 1 tent stitch. And the way that I've been stitching on it recently is I've been on a lot of my projects just stitching across like 2 or 3 blocks at a time, and so that's what I started doing. I would just pick a color, stitch across the top, and that's the easiest way because this chart has so many colors. There's so much confetti that it's easy to just pick one color, work across, instead of trying to think through it. Like, sometimes you overthink which color to stitch next, or at least I do, and you end up spending a lot of time trying to pick a color. But pen, so I can cross off. The next one is going to be Gen 1 Pokémon, which is charted. I think this was from Lord Libidin's website. It's available for free, and here is where I am on this. I did not get very far. This was one, I think I hadn't worked on it yet this year, so I did 1,000 stitches on it. I think I did a little over 1,000, I don't remember exactly. And so you can kind of see Flareon down here, Zapdos. I don't have that much done, so there's not a lot to see. And this is being stitched on, it's either, I think it's a 28 count 2 over 1 tent stitch. Not a lot. You can kind of see there's another Pokemon coming out here, but it's kind of hard to tell what it is yet because I don't have very much done. So there was that. The next project is one that I am debating what I am going to do on this project because I'm not loving stitching on this fabric anymore. And so that is Rainbow Basin, which is charted by Tilton Crafts. And here is where I am on it right now. And I'm stitching this on 36 count 1 over 1 tent stitch. And the reason I'm not loving stitching on it anymore is because this color here is really hard to see the stitches when you're doing it 1 over 1 tent stitch. And so, and it's also really hard to see if there's like empty spaces that need to be filled in. It's really hard to find those empty spaces, and I am not loving it. I ended up ordering some of like those magnifying glasses that I saw the Seattle stitcher talking about, and so I'm going to try using those the next time I work on this to see if I can see it better and can handle stitching on it. Otherwise, I might switch the fabric to an 18 count or like a 16 count, which I have a piece here I was thinking about switching it to something like this, where it's a dyed fabric, because I hate stitching light stitches on light fabric. And so this actually has quite a few stitches. I think there's 10,000 stitches of just this one light color. And so I would really prefer to do it on a fabric where you'll be able to see your stitches better. So I was thinking about switching to this fabric if I end up hating this one, even with the magnifiers. So I will see how that goes. But I really like that chart though, because overall, like the colors of it, it's so colorful, and I love colorful charts. So the next one that I will show now though, that goes down. There's such a big pile in. The next one that I will be showing is Sanctuary, which is artwork by Sheila Wolk, I think, charted by Charting Creations. And here she is. On this one of my goals for the year was to finish the fairy, so I ended up working on the little fairy here, which had a ton of colors. Like you can see all these part threads, there's just tons of colors. There was a lot of colors throughout this part here where there would be like one stitch and that was it of the color, and it was driving me crazy. I am not the biggest fan of confetti, but I powered through. I did like 1,000 stitches because I hadn't worked on her yet this year, and I got this done. So there she is. I don't know when I'll be pulling her out again, because this is one of the ones, the charts that I have where I like it, but I don't have any plans on like, I want this finished now, so I don't feel like a real urgency to keep working on it, but I do like to make small amounts of progress here and there. But this is being stitched on 28 count, 2 over 1/10 stitch, because that is what I was starting like everything on for a long time. We are getting close to the end. So the next one that I have to show is one that there's like a few that include Sanctuary, I think, in this one, where I started them all in Stitch Mania one year, and I have not worked on them that much. So this is another one of my Stitch Mania starts from, I think, like 2020, and it has just the smallest amount of progress, which is just sad. This is my Era Salome, which is charted by, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Is it Nene Thomas or Nene Thomas? I am not sure, so question mark. Here is where I am on this chart, and I haven't done that much. I ended up focusing on, let me put the pen down. I was focusing on filling in like her hair. So this is like a little thing that's on her head. And then there is her hair coming in, I think around here. And then her face is somewhere over here. And I want to get to her face soon to see how her face is going to turn out, because, you know, you never know how a face is going to turn out. Sometimes they're really good. Sometimes they're questionable. You don't know. So that's what I was working on there. But I also did not stitch on her that much. I did my 1,000 stitches and then I was ready to move on. So that's all she got. She is being stitched on, I think, a 27 count Linda. I had ordered a piece of 27 count and then I'd cut it in half, and so I have 2 different projects that are on 27 count, and I can never remember which ones they are, but it's really similar to 28 count, so it's kind of hard to tell the difference. But there is my Era Salome. And next I will show a new start that I had started in Disneyland. I had talked about this project before I went to Disneyland, and it's been a long time. So since my last video, I went to Disneyland and I started this project and I didn't finish it. This is a Mickey Mouse wheel, which is by the Stitch Patterns on Etsy. And here's where I got to on it. It's not that far. Considering the fact how small it is, it should be finished. It's only 1,700 stitches, but I have plans to finish it. I have like some appointments that I'm going to be going to, so I have plans to stitch this like while waiting at appointments, because this is a very easy piece to stitch while you're going somewhere. But the project bag I use is tiny. The piece itself is tiny, and it's being stitched on 14 count plastic canvas, so you don't need a hoop or anything, and it's just perfect for in-hand stitching. I'm really close to being finished though. I think there's like less than 700 stitches left, way less than 700. And then you can see that I've waited to do Mickey last because I just want to do it last for some reason. It seems like the big, like, ooh, you know, it's kind of like some people will stitch like a face last in a chart because like it's like the main focus of a chart sometimes, and so you want to do it last to save yourself some excitement, and that's the way I feel about Mickey. I'm gonna save him for last, the exciting part of my project. And yeah, so there he is. It will be finished soon, hopefully, and then I'll be down another project, and that would put me back down to having 30 whips again, which my whip numbers are probably gonna go up this month because I ordered fabric for 2 charts that are Halloween charts, which I'll talk about in my next video. And I'm excited to have some Halloween stitching because I don't really have any Halloween charts right now. I have like a couple that I consider fall charts, but I don't have anything that's specifically Halloween, which I would like to have. So I only have one more chart to talk about, and it's one that, yeah, I think, yeah, one left. And it's one that I am not actually, it's not even a new start. It's like a test stitch, I guess, because I had bought the chart, I think it's called, on her Etsy at least, it was called Gamer Girl, and it is by Medusa Dollmaker. It was originally released from Gecko Rouge, and Gecko Rouge still has their own separate version, so the Gecko Rouge charted it separately. And now Medusa Dollmaker charts her charts also on Etsy, and you can buy them just the chart, where on Gecko Rouge you have to buy a full kit, which can be kind of expensive, especially if it's a bigger chart. So that's the starting. So Medusa Dollmaker released it, and I didn't know because it didn't say anything on the listing, but apparently the chart only had 35 colors from Medusa Dollmaker on her Etsy shop. 38 colors, yeah. And so I'd put it into Pattern Keeper. The mock-up looked pretty good. The background had some areas that were kind of questionable, where there's like a blue background on the chart and there's stars. And some of the stars were not looking very starry, which was fine for me because I wasn't planning on stitching the background anyways. I plan on stitching this on like a blue fabric and then just leaving the blue unstitched because I don't want to stitch all that blue. It's too much. So I had seen a couple comments where people were kind of wondering about the quality of how it would turn out, and so I ended up starting to stitch her, just the face, because the face for me is like the main thing on a chart. If the face is bad, I don't want to stitch the entire chart. So I found a small piece of fabric that I had laying around, so it's not like an actual start. I'm not doing anything with this, I just wanted to see how it would look, and I started stitching the face on the 38 color version from Medusa Dollmaker. So I stitched the face. It looks to me pretty good, and then because it's only 38 colors, you have a lot less color changes, and to me, like I said, it looks pretty good. You can tell that it's a face. It's fine. I like it. I was enjoying it, and then when I posted it to Instagram about it, someone had let me know that the Medusa Dollmaker listing now says that it comes with a 38 color chart, and you also get a 98 color chart. So I went back and I didn't even message Medusa Dollmaker, like it's fine. I just went and I purchased the chart with the new listing now, and now you get the 38 color version and you get a 98 color version. I will insert, I can't talk. I will insert the mock-ups for both of them here so you can see them both, 38 colors versus 98 colors. And the 98 colors does have a lot more details. The background looks better, so if you wanted to stitch the background, it does look a lot better. You can see there's differences in the hair color and things like that, so now you have the option. So Medusa Dollmaker on the Etsy has now listed, it's the one listing, but it comes with both versions of the chart. So I ended up stopping stitching on the face once I saw that there was a 98 color version, because I feel like that kind of settles the issue. Like if you want the more detail, you can just stitch the 98 color version. Otherwise, if you are fine with just less colors and less confetti, there is a slightly less detailed version, which here it is. Whoa. And like I said, it still looks fairly good. Like the skin tone is good. There's not any weird blotches. Like that's the one thing I worry about sometimes, is I have had a chart where like the forehead had a really light block and it just looked weird because like the rest of the skin tone was darker, and then all of a sudden there was just a light block. And I don't see that on here. It looks fine. It's very well blended for being 38 colors. I was happy with it. So that was the last thing. That's all that I have done. And I don't think I'm going to talk about knitting or anything in this video, just because I would like to keep it shorter-ish so that it uploads quicker. Sometimes these videos take a while to upload. And yeah, so that is all that I have to show. I hope to be back sooner with an update now that I've gotten all this out of the way. It feels less intimidating. I knew that this video was going to take a little bit longer than my other videos because of how much there was to show, and that was part of why I kept delaying it, because I kept being like, this is going to take long, I don't have the time right now. But yeah, now it's all done, and I hope that everyone has been having a good summer or winter wherever you are in the world, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!